Navitel were kind enough to send us the RS2 Duo for an unboxing and giveaway, so let's dig in. As usual, a bright and colourful box. On the side here, the features: Full HD, 2-inch display, 2 built-in cameras, the internal IR floodlight, wide dynamic range, a magnetic holder, dual Full HD recording, a lithium-ion battery, and twin SONY STARVIS sensors. The side of the box mentions the Navitel DVR player software, however it's only available for Windows PCs. The front side of the box mentions the Full HD front camera, night vision and the Full HD interior camera, and we all know what the SONY STARVIS sensor's like. The other end of the box shows a picture of the camera and the main features, and the underside just the contents. So let's open this box and show you what's inside. What greets us once inside, and one of the few manufacturers to do this, Navitel gives you a cleaning cloth for the dashcam lenses. Personally, I think it's quite a nice touch. Next out of the box, let's take that dashcam. Could be interesting. Okay, let's remove the cardboard cover and see what else we get. That would appear to be the magnetic mount that was mentioned on the outside of the box. Not sure how strong that is, so we'll give it a shake test. Next up, this appears to be the power supply. Looks fairly standard. Also included is a spare adhesive mount for the dashcam, and it's good to see a popular branded one as well. Next up, this is the USB lead for your computer to plug the dashcam in to get the files off. And finally, what we have here is the manual. Okay, let's take the RS2 Duo out of its package. Very interesting. I'm suddenly getting flashbacks to January 2020. We reviewed the Autovox Aurora. Very, very similar. So, we have a camera here on the front and another one here on the back. Let's peel that label off, which reveals a small 2-inch screen. Let's take the cover off that cabin view camera. This one's a 143 degree Full HD SONY STARVIS sensor. Just above it here is the IR illuminator. These 4 LEDs provide the flood lighting for inside the car, ensuring a good clear view. Okay, let's take the cover off that front lens. This one is also a SONY STARVIS sensor and Full HD, but a narrower field of view at 136 degrees. In the recess here, the connections and the metal plate for the magnet. Moving on to the side of the camera, we have the micro SD slot, the microphone and the power button. On the underside of the camera are 4 identically marked buttons, not very user-friendly, as depending on what mode you're in, determines what the buttons actually do. Also on the underside is the recessed reset button. On the right of the camera here, the speaker. On the top here, the mini USB connection for connecting to your PC. Whilst the screen is only 2 inches, it is a reasonable definition at 960 by 240, though it isn't touch sensitive. Given the price tag of over £130, that is something I would have liked to have seen. Let's take a look at this magnetic mount. It has an adhesive mount on the underside, and a spare is also included in the box, which is great. Just a couple of markings on the front, including the name. The side of the mount actually has a micro USB connection for the power. Connection to the camera is made through these pins, and the strong magnet underneath holds it in place. Adjustment to the position of the camera is done through this knurled ring. Simply slacken off, adjust the camera, and then tighten it back up again. Whilst the bracket is sturdy, there is no side-to-side movement, only front and back, which means no side-to-side adjustment should you need it. Simply fit the camera onto the bracket like this. Right, let's do a shake test. Let's make sure that magnet is strong enough. Initially I wasn't sure, but as you can see from these tests, it's highly unlikely that the camera is ever going to become dislodged in normal use. The bracket sits snugly on the camera, but it can be removed for security should you need to. The Aurora camera came with a slightly different mount, so there's no GPS module on the RS2 Duo. This is a pity, especially again considering that price bracket. Okay, let's move on to the power supply. This appears to be, like many supplied with these types of cameras, a standard cigarette lighter power supply with the usual sprung-mounted contacts. You probably already know from my previous reviews, if you've got a nice chunky power supply, you want the manufacturer to include a USB port so you can charge your phone. And this 2-amp supply can indeed do both. Power to the camera comes through this micro USB connector, which plugs directly into the mount. So whatever you do, don't try and plug it directly into the camera, it's a different connector. You plug it in here on the mount. Connection is straightforward. Plug this in here, plug the power supply into the cigarette lighter, and attach the camera. Done. The RS2 Duo has this internal camera so you can see in the cabin, as well as the main camera facing the road. This of course means you have a front and back view, proving your innocence. The PC cable that's also included in the box is fairly standard. This is a mini USB which plugs directly into the top of the camera here. If you're using a Windows PC, you can plug this then directly into your computer and use Navitel's DVR software. The camera supports a micro SD card of up to 256 GB, so if you're using a Mac you might have to eject that rather than plug it in. As you'd expect, the manual comes in various European languages and covers the device layout, which we've already touched on, as well as the usual fault finding and specifications. And as you can see here, well over an amp available for charging your phone. Well done, Navitel. The camera also comes with a G sensor and a parking monitor, which should catch any car park dings whilst you're not present. Whilst the manual does actually show you what all of the buttons do, you might need to keep the manual handy in order to work out which one does what. Having them all with the same marking doesn't really help. So inside the box you get the camera, the magnetic mount, the plug-in power supply, the PC cable, a spare adhesive mount, and the manual. The RS2 Duo uses the NTK96675 processor, which is the successor to the NT660 used in the R6 we've already reviewed. This more powerful processor allows the dashcam to process images from both the full HD front camera and the full HD internal camera that this unit benefits from. It also has the SONY STARVIS 307 sensor with night vision, which is again an upgrade to the GC2053 in the RC2 Dual we've also reviewed. Whilst it's missing GPS functionality and the buttons underneath are a bit confusing to use, ultimately it's actually a really good camera. You could win this dashcam worth £140. Navitel kindly sent us this unit for an unboxing and giveaway, so here's how you could win the Navitel RS2 Duo. Simply comment below saying why you would want to win the RS2 Duo, and one lucky winner will get drawn up random within the next 2 weeks. Good luck! Thank you for watching, but remember to subscribe and hit that bell.